Welcome.
Hey, good evening, Clark. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me? I gotta adjust the
I hear
headset is kind of like wore out.
you perfectly well. I see my colleague and our program coordinator, Bob Fagan's with us as well. So it's just the three of us chickens so far.
Welcome also. Um, I'm hoping that the coordinator for Esopus, for our public access, I'm from Kingston, the city of Kingston. He's also going to be actually. I'm using his. Uh, Actually, this is a room, so we're not limited to time. Um, set it up, and hopefully it's going to be recorded. My plan is to have this recorded and then played on the public access over at Esopus, so people could either join in or stay informed of what we're trying to do. Uh, New Paltz does an excellent job. I was just watching your last December meeting a little bit as far as what you're trying to do. Um, so it's been for us. It's been a long time away from it because of everybody just lost focus on it.
Well, you also had some political problems.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably contributed, but still, it's like I'm willing to say maybe we could do something different.
Yeah.
I'm willing to work with anybody and share ideas. Um, there still could be political stuff, but it doesn't have to be on prime time. It could be what's best for Kingston or the rest of the towns first, and then have that. I think Sogdies does a great job of trying to administrate, and you guys definitely do an awesome job of informing the public of what should be done. First off,
Yeah, I just think you guys got creamed by people not wanting the First Amendment to be respected.
Vice versa took advantage of it. I mean, there is limits. Um, I guess you're basically you're free to do what you want, but you still have to follow the program of.
Right. I mean, you've got the three sort of legs, if you will, to the stool. Public, educational, and government programming. Government programming is only part of it. But for a lot of people, that seems to be what the entirety of public access is. In New Paltz, we've been trying to breathe some life into it and get the community more closely involved. And it's been a bit of an uphill struggle. We've needed to form a volunteer non-profit company to do that, which at the end of the year last year we finally got there with that.
You mind if I start recording? I'm sorry.
You are recording. You've been recording a while by the looks of it. So.
Like I said, I wanted to do this. I have my own Zoom, but I have limited time on my Zoom, so they offered me this. So maybe in the future I could do this because I want to do this like at least once a month to keep it open. So go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off there.
Not at all. I'm sorry. You say you're using somebody else's account, but you are Clark. I didn't catch your name. Yeah.
I'm Clark Richters. I used to be on the Public Access Commission back in 2012. I stepped away to become a trustee at the library because there was a conflict. At that time, I've always been, since the YouTube, I've utilized YouTube, but up until the recent epidemic that we're going through is like, man, this channel is like so underutilized. So I'm back a full supporter of public access. I'm not a member of the City of Kingston Commission. There's still, for some reason, they have a resolution that there was from 1995 that there's supposed to be a commission set up. I'm not sure That's what I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to encourage the city to appoint people to the towns and the city to appoint people to the commission, so you can have a discussion. Because there's no place right now that, like, if I have a problem with my cable subscriber, I have to go to the mayor's office. There's
Right.
nobody for me to say, or even if I wanted to do a little show, even though Esopus right now is being really nice about that, there is nobody overseeing the programming. So,
So when you turn on channel 23, is it channel 23 in Kingston?
yes, channel 23 and channel 20, which was the school district
Mhm.
channel, but because of the whole cable conversion of the boxes, I guess they just it's not worth the get every single box or classroom, from my understanding. So they just let it. It's like Rainbow right now, and they're just using YouTube.
Yeah, there's just a color bar.
Yes, and I did have the president last month at our meeting, and he's gonna pursue that, where he thinks it's a good tool for them to utilize too. I'm not sure how far they're going to utilize it, but if they're not going to utilize it, right, you just can't leave it sit there rainbow, right?
Yeah, I'm not. Bob would be better able to tell you this than me, but I think you can only keep color bars up for so long before they're going to pull that channel back or reassign it or
That's
something.
not true. They'll keep color bars up forever.
Really? Okay. Okay. Okay then.
Doesn't benefit us though.
It's only if they want to screw with you, they'll throw up the slate saying there's a problem, and then you have to get them to turn off the slate. As long as they're color bars, once you get your video signal up, you'll take over the color bars.
I thought, now I could be wrong on this, but this is going back to Andrea's time, Bob. Is there not some percentage of channel utilization in order to make another channel available, etc.?
Yes.
So if you're not using so much of it, that they won't let you have the additional 2 channels you're entitled to. But doesn't it work the other way? If you stop utilizing that channel, can't they technically pull it back?
Yes, they could. Yeah,
Right.
I'm surprised they don't, because in other areas of New York State, they've started throwing public access into the 1500 channel range and taking over the lower end channels. So I'm surprised that they keep throwing the color bars up. They throw it here in New Paltz on channel 20. It's all color bars. And then 23 is our channel.
But the channel 20 in New Paltz, is that educational?
Yes, it's supposedly for SUNY.
Okay.
But there's no broadcast on that right now, Bob, right?
It was broadcasting about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And the broadcast was basically a slideshow from SUNY. Because SUNY, it's all
Clark,
crap.
Yes. Hi, Jean. This is Jean Jacobs. She used to be the Friends of the Kingston Public Access. I'd like to introduce her.
Evening, Gene. I'm Anton Stewart. I'm Chair of New Paltz Public Access.
And
good
I'm
evening.
the coordinator of public access.
Good evening. Pleased to meet you all. I'm a little late. I apologize for that, Clark. So,
I was late last time. I was kind of like under the gun anyway. After,
excuse me, Rocky. Sorry, it's my dog.
Okay.
Never worked with children or animals. You know?
Hold on. Rocky.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm
Hey,
right
Clark.
here.
Hi, Gene.
Joe
Joe
DeFalco.
Yep.
Introduce yourself.
Joe DeFalco.
Hey, there he is. Hi, Joe.
Also a
Yep.
former commissioner.
No, we're still commissioners.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still commissioners because they haven't replaced us. They haven't sent any letters to us, and we've been appointed, and we're still appointed. Now, Brian Barnes is doing a terrific job keeping that thing going.
Yes.
Okay?
Right.
Okay.
We have
no doubt about it.
we have the
We do.
town
What?
of New Paltz as guests, and they're willing to talk. Hopefully, I'm still waiting for. I believe Alex is going to come, and Brian Barnes is going to come.
Well, Brian Barnes is not on there yet.
Not yet.
Well,
No.
anyway, okay. So look, we do have rules. Okay, the rules didn't go away. Okay, I know all the producers do not lose their place or time on the air. No, they still have that place and time on the air. Though we don't have any studio to produce a live show.
Right.
But we can do is produce a video and have Brian play it in the producer's time, and Brian could keep playing it in your time until you produce another one. You have to take possession of your time that you have on public access. Now, if we could get some funding, we could probably, be able to produce live shows. But as you know, Clark, the city was totally against us, made us go into debt for $4,000. Nobody came up with any money. I mean, I talked to, what's his name?
We talked about that,
21.
Joe. We talked about that. It just turned like a political defundation. Well, it wasn't really. I don't think Kingston's ever gave any kind of funding besides what they got from Time Warner back in the studio days, which was great. But
we were only asking for 4 cents or 2 cents. That's all out of each bill. That's it. Would have paid for rent and utilities for producing a show. We weren't asking for much. We couldn't get 2 cents out of them. We put in rules, okay? So, I don't know if our county executive is using our public access for campaigning, because if he is, that's a violation of our rules. Okay? He can use it to go on and make announcements of pertinent things like the pandemic, okay, emergencies, things like that. But as far as promoting himself, that's against our bylaws, okay? He wants to promote himself. He can buy some time in the public arena.
right.
Okay.
Maybe that's something I can ask New Paltz and see what the policy is. That is with the emergency broadcasting. Ain't they're supposed to be like the officials, like the mayors and the towns are supposed to utilize that channel for that?
I don't know, but it would be a good avenue for them to get the word out, because a lot of senior citizens are not savvy to computers. They don't have computers. They don't have smartphones. All they have is the number one media thing they have is a TV. That's the number one promotion for media and information, not the computer. It's the television. Okay, and they don't use the television. Okay, and they should use the television to get these information out, the pertinent information that's needed to get out there. Not make announcements on Facebook, not make announcements on YouTube or things like that. It should be done in a public arena, and the public arena is TV. That's the most promotion for information there is, television.
I'll tell you what.
We have to find out who's in charge down there of putting these programs on. I know Brian Barnes is keeping it going. He keeps that menu up there with all the events that are going on. That's wonderful. Okay, but we have no funding for producing shows. But evidently, the county executive does. He's producing shows. Okay, and he's getting them on there, and he's getting them on there on producer's time. Right. On Gene's time, on your time clock. You have time on that.
Joe, I just want to give other people a chance to talk here. So, Bob, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, we do not allow politicians to, our bylaws are similar to yours as far as them promoting themselves, but as far as information goes, I will run Pat Ryan's COVID briefings, as well as Governor Cuomo's. In fact, as well as anyone in a public position. We do Woodland Pond, we do the town and the village. And it's basically trying to get information out. Like you said, a lot of people don't want to watch this on computers, and Channel 20.
Could I say something here, please?
Yeah.
Okay. We are confusing our public in a most critical and crisis time since March of last year and since 2017, when the franchise agreement was never signed again. After we held a public hearing on the 20th of December in 2016, the mayor called it. The franchise agreement should have been signed a few months later, and it never was. So we're not in a franchise agreement. But we are also not reaching our people. And I think it's critical that we enforce this. And like Joe said, we have not resigned. I never resigned. We never received a letter that the Kingston area public access was left where we don't have it any longer. That's not so. So the public is in the dark here. And Clark and I and Joe, I mean, we've tried to educate, motivate, and inform the public. But Clark, do you have any intention of making these videos live that we're doing?
Well, that's what I wanted to do, is have it, it's recorded now, to have it played on our public access station.
I think
to
that's
keep that
an
dialogue going.
excellent idea. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. And I was
Well,
hoping
you
that.
produce a CD. If you can produce a CD, Buy and Bonds would be compelled to put it on the air. Okay? But
Right.
you have to give them something to put on the air. You can't just put nothing. We don't have the funds to produce a show. Okay? The equipment that we lost in the storage bin was already 30 years old. One camera was broken. It was, one camera was broken. You get a better picture on a $50 motion picture camera you buy today.
Right.
Okay. And you know that to be true, Clark, because you're doing wonders with the equipment that you have.
Right.
So,
aren't you?
guys, can I just chip in for 5 seconds here? Do you mind?
Sure, go ahead.
Good evening, Joe, and good evening, Jean.
Good evening. Good evening.
I'm Anton Stewart. I'm chair of New Paltz Joint Public Access Committee. You're preaching to the choir here with the greatest of respect to the both of you. Both Bob and myself are ardent supporters of public access television and have largely had to take it on ourselves to ensure that we didn't get swept under the carpet. And realistically, that's what you're going to have to do. And if we can help you as one public access station to another, then yeah, let's have that discussion. Let's look at that. I mean, we personally have invested a huge amount of time and, well, I don't want to say a huge amount of money, but a significant amount of personal funds to ensure that our channel survives. And in fact, we're hoping very shortly, if it all goes according to plan, to actually be broadcasting in HD, which has been a total uphill battle for us. I mean, I reached out to Sorgady's Lighthouse TV, but they didn't want to talk to us particularly. So again, I guess we just do what we can do. But one person by themselves can only do so much. When you get a group of people, like-minded individuals, working together to achieve a common aim, I do believe you can move the needle.
Yes, you can.
So yeah, get involved, make it happen. If we can help it, make it happen for you. And there's possibility of syndicating programming. I don't know. It's still local interest stuff. Yeah, whatever we can do. But I mean, obviously, we're in no position to to fix your political issues, well, you've got kind of
Right.
I mean, I understand, 100% nothing is going. You get 0% of the franchise fee. Is that correct?
Right.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we fully expect to probably be in a very similar position ourselves. But, we've set up a non-profit, NPZ TV, New Paltz Television Inc. We've set up a non-profit specifically to do that. And we're looking to try and attract people, young, interested people who have a passion to support, the arts and their culture and the
Right.
and freedom to actually speak and not bias. You can't. The wonderful thing about public access is you can't buy it. You cannot buy it. You can't put a spin on it. You can get up there and say whatever you want, subject to certain conditions, of course. But
Right.
But it is truly public access television and should be preserved in that vein. I think in the times that we find ourselves right now, the First Amendment is on extraordinarily shaky ground.
Right.
Particularly the five
Yes.
freedoms.
Let me interject. You're absolutely right about we're under attack from the media. The media is biased, and this could be a tool to
Right.
enlighten and educate people. Because when I go to council meetings and I speak at council meetings, the Freeman is there all the time. They never print what goes on at the council meetings. Never.
Right. Never.
Okay, they never. I already accused Ariella to tell her not to bother coming to meetings. Just come the next day to the clerk's office, pick up your press release, and go on your way. Okay, because you don't do the residents of Kingston any justice by not saying what actually goes on here at the city level.
Right.
Okay. Now this here tool could be used as a tool to combat this biased newspaper and news that they have.
So you
And
don't,
Clark, you do a very good job of reporting, but you have to be more consistent. You have to be constant, not just once a month or once every 3 months or whatever. You have to be every week, every
You're
day,
welcome.
if possible.
You're welcome to join my media outlet.
you don't broadcast your meetings at all?
No. Everything's being broadcast right now on YouTube, online only. In the radio station, Radio Kingston.
Radio Kingston.
They actually broadcast the actual meeting?
We
No,
have to.
No,
No,
they
they
don't.
don't broadcast the meeting. They don't broadcast the meeting.
They only
Clark
broadcast.
records the meeting, but it goes onto YouTube, and it doesn't really reach enough people.
Right.
Clark should be producing a CD and giving it to Brian Bonds and say, Brian,
Right.
put this on my time. It's not whatever it is, 9 o'clock, Friday night, Saturday, whatever your time is.
Right.
I
Right.
want this to be played.
So Radio Kingston's only broadcasting the mayor's updates for the pandemic and Pat Ryan's and whatever like press conference comes up between there. Other than that, like the laws and rules, finance meetings are all being posted online and on the city's website. But nothing is, unless I do it, unless I burn a DVD of the mayor's stated address and put it over to Esopus, or Esopus. Sometimes Adam over in Esopus, the coordinator, is actually burning stuff on DVDs and playing it when I'm requesting it to get.
So you can only play stuff off DVDs right now?
Yes, and I've asked him about that because I realized Saugerties, and you guys I think have it too, is the live streaming software, but the only catch to them is they're not receiving any funds. So whatever money that we need for software to do live streaming, it's going to have to come through the city or the towns, which is probably going to be.
Well, we have no money to do that, Clark.
Let me ask.
We've been where the gentleman that was speaking from New Paltz. We've been there. We've created 501(c)(3)s to be an arm of fundraising for this. Jean knows this because she was in charge of that. Jean did raise money. Okay, we never raised enough. I mean, when we were going down, we put a sign in front of the camera. If we don't get funding, from the producers to help us, we're gonna go off the air. And you
Well,
know how much we got? $20.
But can I just interject here a minute? Just so, well,
Go ahead.
see, we're not talking to the public tonight, but if the public was listening, Lisa Alt was the president of FOPA, Friends of Public Access, up until March of 2000, about March or April of 2010. And then there was a falling to the side. I was never involved with that up until that time. I was a producer. Okay, I was a producer.
Yes,
But then
you
I
were.
felt the necessity to take charge and to follow what I had to become, stay the 5013C, but we had to create a new board of directors, a new president. It was a lot of work. But when when we went into 721 Broadway, she did not feel that they presently, with FOPA, had enough money to take on that venture, and they didn't.
Yeah, Mercedes did that to us.
Yes,
But
exactly.
that's Gene, but that's fine. Let's like, you could still raise money for that, but our main question is trying to get money from the towns and the cities right now.
Yes.
Until we come up with a plan, because it's really hard for us to do anything without putting money towards that station over there.
Oh, I can't raise money for it over there.
So,
Well, Clark, can I ask you a question, Clark?
Go ahead.
The trunks that we broadcast out of public access on, right? They exist at the broom factory, right? They exist at 721. And they exist wherever we used to broadcast out of. Is that not so?
Yeah, but they're not hooked up. They're not
hooked
The
up.
City of
But it
Kingston,
wouldn't take.
City of Kingston right now in our franchise agreement is they have a line going right to City Hall, but there's no equipment there to receive anything or transmit anything.
Is there a
Yeah,
budget?
the only thing when we put the stuff into
no,
storage,
there's only a line going there. There's a capability for a line. It's right in the contract.
No modulate.
No, the City of Kingston would have to pay for an extra one.
yeah, they didn't want to put a line in down in Port Ewan. They didn't want to put a line in. They were forced to put a line.
I don't know if they could. I don't know if they could. Like, Esopus won't be able to do have equipment over there, right? And the City of Kingston, right? They would have to pull it out of Esopus Town Hall to bring it back over to Kingston, right?
The piece of equipment they're generating, the generating out of, it belongs to public access. They could have all the CD players, all the recorders they have or they bought, whatever.
Right.
But
well, that's
the
an
generator that generates that signal to go out on the air belongs to public access.
Absolutely.
That's what we saved when we put it into storage. We took the essential things we needed to broadcast,
Right.
okay, and brought them over there so we could be on the air. The other stuff we couldn't save, even though I went back to the auction when they were auctioning the stuff off. And we couldn't buy it. We bid up to $250, and we got outbidded for. The only thing good were the tripods. They were so professional that the tripods was the only good thing there. The cameras were junk.
They
we
got
tried to get the
tripods got auctioned off, and then the cameras, the live cameras.
The cameras that we had, Clark, one was broken down, and the other one that was already 30 years old. You know how they were as big as a shoebox.
Yeah, but still, it's like I mean, they could do anything, but the whole thing of them auctioning off public equipment, it just sounds kind of.
Well,
like,
we couldn't pay the storage. We had no money. We couldn't pay the rent at 721.
Right.
We couldn't pay the storage. We had no money. We didn't have a dime.
So-
What John Catan was so
Joe,
gracious enough.
Joe, can I
Yeah.
ask you a question? If you say, because I wasn't on I resigned from the commission, so if it's not over in the Esopus, right? And I can ask New Paltz this, right? The only other option we have is to have Time Warner make a makeshift drop off, right?
where's your modulator right now? You've got,
In a town of
something
Esopus.
going to where? It's in the town of Esopus, but that's
The town.
being carried in the city of Kingston as well. Then.
and the town of Kingston and Marbletown and Rosendale
Okay.
and
Hurley,
Hurley.
Kingston, Rosendale, yep.
And
Esopus.
town of Ulster.
Okay.
Town
So,
of-
Town.
so you've got the one location which is at the town of Esopus town hall. Is that where it is?
Yes, yep,
Okay. So you've got a fiber link there, presumably, and
yes.
you've got a modulator, and presumably you've got some kind of Nexus or whatever as a broadcast server. Do you know what?
Yeah, we have
equipment you have?
Yeah, we have the equipment to get out. That's the equipment we saved.
Yeah,
so we
they could
stay
they
on
could do
the air.
live. They actually do live streaming with their meetings over there.
Okay. Yeah, live streaming is really actually quite easy. It's nowhere near as tough as it used to be. I mean, you actually have the capability. We could right now, for example, stream this meeting that we're having live on channel 23 in New Paltz. We've got an audio issue there, which I'm waiting for Zoom to get back to, but
Right.
we've got the equipment to make that work. You can actually do a live stream meeting direct to air. And we're also taking our broadcast to a YouTube live stream 24/7 as well. So everything
Right.
that's being broadcast on 23 is on YouTube also. So that's for the cable cutters, the people who want to be able to see. But I mean, okay, we're here, Bob and I from New Paltz. What can we do to help? What do you need from us? I mean, is there something? I mean, can we work together? I mean, program.
I would invite you to any. I mean, I'm not a commissioner, but if I was a commissioner, I'd be like, I would like to have that dialogue. I tried to call the other town, Saugerties, to try to get some kind of support, and they basically told me that it's your problem and we can't help you. Because I thought that they have a studio, they do live streaming, we can get some kind of like guidance, because I think, for me, it's like, it's difficult to have cable and internet separate where it should be like all one, like whatever is playing on public access should be on the internet or vice versa. I think Kingston should ask for that. And I'm not even sure what they're asking for. That's the whole question. It's like,
Could I
should
ask
boil it again.
excuse me, can I ask the gentleman from New Paltz, where do you have your studio?
We're actually we've just been awarded space at the community center for a studio space. We're waiting on Spectrum right now because unfortunately our fiber link where it is just like 20 feet too short to make it into the new studio space. So we need to overcome that hurdle. But yeah, we've still got a long way to go. We're very much, I would think, in the formative stage.
Hey, Don, can I interject?
Please.
Okay, so New Paltz has not had a studio at all. All we've had is a closet where we've placed a server which allows us to upload files of the meetings instead of going through the DVDs or sending tapes to Middletown to have Spectrum, or before this was Time Warner, upload the stuff. So they bought a server. It's called a Nexus server from Electronics that we can schedule for 7 days files, digital files, and we can take them off the internet and we can convert them and schedule them as they go up. And we can also use that as a live stream input at the community center when they hold meetings at the community.
I see.
So we never had a studio. So we're just now getting a studio. But we always created content that we were able to get up on Channel 23. And I understand your pain and how hard it is, but we would be happy to help you guys.
That's wonderful. At the community center, do you have to pay rent or anything of that nature?
No, that's our, they do support us, the towns.
Okay, okay,
Especially, the town especially, they actually had a line for a community, for a public access coordinator. We're trying to make that a volunteer position because of all the COVID,
right,
lack
right.
of, lack of revenue. They're looking to cut everywhere. But
Right.
we, they are supportive of public access as far as long as it doesn't cost too much.
Get it. I got it. Get it.
We-
Thank you.
We face the same struggle as you, though, Gene, with trying to get our municipalities to talk to us first. You know, to get us in the loop, to get that
Right.
kind of emergency programming out, to make full and proper use of public access, especially
Right.
the more vulnerable members of our community that don't have or don't use the internet. I mean,
Right.
I know our administration, particularly in the village, have spent a fair amount of time putting together, complex Google documents, which detail, a living sort of breathing, this is what's happening here. And, some poor, I want to call them pensioners. I'm from the UK, aren't I? So one of the senior members of our community might struggle perhaps with the accessibility of that, which
Right.
sort of flies in the face of public access, So we, Bob's done a wonderful job of, getting as much information as he can from wherever he can, producing slides, producing little informational bulletins ourselves. We try to get out with cameras where we can. Bear in mind, all of us work, so it's kind of tricky, but we try to do that. We also,
When you say, let me just interject. When you say get out with the cameras, I love the man on the street. I love that concept where you interview your people.
Yep.
Do you do that?
we try to.
Really?
We try to.
I think that is a magnificent concept. I love that.
But
I always wanted-
here's the issue that affects all of us is Spectrum / Charter / Time Warner Cable. They all those corporations want to kill us. They basically see us as a negative revenue. There's no revenue coming in. They're forced to give us something, according
Right.
to the franchise agreement. But they would love just for us to go away.
But you can't.
Oh,
though,
of
contract.
course. Of course.
Yeah, it's under contract, but they can do things like they're doing to us, which is keep us a standard definition of
Right.
these old modulators.
I believe that we're still on analog. I could be wrong, but I think our equipment is still pushing analog.
Yeah, but they're converting it digitally.
Okay.
They've already set that up to convert it digitally and make
Really?
it bad and sound as bad as they can.
Right, but when something breaks down, though, they take it like, okay, we'll put you on a list for, next year, and we'll get around to it, and
You have no,
yeah,
because the franchise agreement, once it's signed, they're basically saying, "Oh, we can use your lines.
right.
The hell with you guys."
But doesn't like the mayor can have like a little bit of encouragement for them to get on the stick where.
Well, it would be nice, but that's down to you guys to really sort of
Right.
get your administration, if you will, on board with you and pitching in for your corner, which is really, really difficult right now because everybody's run out of money courtesy of the pandemic.
Right,
It's
Right.
and
So
they
what?
consider public access to be non-essential.
No, it's a revenue stream, though. From
You're right, but
my
it goes in the general fund.
yeah.
Because,
So
that's-
my understanding right now, from what we're taking from the city of Kingston and the 5 towns is they're collecting over $500,000 from the franchise fees.
But it's
They're not putting
important.
up in-
Let me just interject. I had the opportunity to speak with down in the boroughs, the 5 boroughs in Brooklyn and New York, And I spoke with the gentleman there for almost an hour and a half, several months ago. And it was impressive because they put their franchise fee goes back into their public access. They buy buildings. It is unbelievable, the partnership and collaborative effort that goes on there. So they all public access. We're struggling. We are, and
Right.
so is Newport.
Someone and Kevin Cahill came up with a plan, which it was 2012, that he was making a bill saying that public access would get $250,000 out of the revenue
Right.
each, and making it like mandatory and having like a committee appointment. Because my understanding, I thought that this whole franchise thing with them now appointing commissioners again would delay the franchise. But I guess the state public
No,
service
they're
commission,
protected by the government. Even
Right.
though there's no franchise agreement right now,
They keep going.
they're protected by the government. It's not against the law what they're doing, but it's not helping us in any way, shape, or form.
The village's franchise agreement is still currently unsigned. So
Well-
let me ask you a question, Clark or Jean. Is Spectrum the only player in your municipality? Can't you get fire something?
no, that's only franchise. Verizon was back with Shane Gallo was talking about putting fiber down Broadway,
Right.
but they decided it was just too much because they did in Poughkeepsie and it didn't really work out, that they gave up and they got rid of their fiber. They just junked it, I guess. From my press conference, I covered with Verizon when they cut the copper linemen off. They're wireless. I mean, even Spectrum is trying to go the wireless way, I guess.
Still need fiber for the backhaul. As wireless as you get, you still
Right.
need fiber infrastructure.
Right.
So yeah, fiber is prevalent. I mean, and you probably find that most of Spectrum has got fiber down Broadway in Kingston anyway. But what I was asking is if they're the only game in town, then Clark, it does make life tricky.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, from
They
our
are. They are. But the fiber, there was a plan when the Carnegie Library was revitalized and the Kingston Hospital. There was discussion because I was on the school board at the time. This is going back. And there was discussion, whereas they were going to unite the effort with even the college. But like Clark said, that fell apart. But the wiring, I'm not sure, Clark, is any of that wiring or whatever? I'm not as.
No, it's not. It would be, it only says in the contract it's going to the high school or.
Yeah, well, the high school, we didn't
right.
even discuss that.
Right.
Channel 20.
No, we did before you came in. I
Oh,
did say
okay.
what was
Okay, I'm sorry.
Rainbow. But that's a separate issue from us. We had, all we could do is just get our channel back where it should be.
Right.
But without the city of Kingston and the towns pitching in some revenue or some direction, I would just like to see them appoint people to the commission. So it's an ongoing thing of, what could be done.
I brought it up again the other night when I called the Common Council. I brought it up. I spoke
Right.
on other.
But I got an update. I actually got an email from the president of the council. Is they're going to entertain my request for the resolution that they have in 1995 for appointed commissioners and public access. It's going to be on the laws and rules on the 20th. They're going to entertain my request for public access.
I brought it up at their Common
But that's only
Council again.
entertaining. So that could be like, well, okay, come in. We'll talk to you for a minute and see you later. But I'll take anything right now, as long as they, as long as that's my mission right now, is to keep the politicians from all over, even the bigger politicians, to remind them the importance about public access. And I like to see public access being all on one channel for every place, but if it can't be, then fine. At least we can have a friendly communication with what we're having right now with New Paltz and the rest of the public access. It's
Yes,
just to keep dialogue going.
but it's so confusing to the public. Remember, that's our audience, our
A
public.
lot of they don't even know what's going on or what they're paying for with that
No.
franchise fee. I don't think.
So that's why I think it's important for these meetings to be somewhere, so at least people know that we're engaged and involved in, you know, looking to create a plan so
It
that,
would only get more people involved. I'm hoping to get this on the TV for a little bit, once a month. I mean, but if you're, so unlimited, it's like it's just too much for me to, you know, if I was to take a council meeting and then burn it and trying to get it over there, and just, you know, it's just too much. It'd be nice if I had a direct link, because I'm asking for that, a direct link where I could just send it there. I
but
don't know, does New Paltz have a direct link for files?
Yes, we do.
Yes, I don't even have that. Only I have is, like I said, the community, the outreach person, Alex, is being nice to whatever I request. He's burning it himself and putting it on TV, and then he's got my blog link to the TV.
So when you
Advertisement.
want to do a show, you have to burn it to DVD. You can't just give them a file.
Yes, yeah, and it that takes a lot of
Yeah, and DVDs are becoming obsolete.
it,
and expensive too.
it's so convoluted. It's to go through all these, you know, apparatuses to get to where we want to go. When I used to go in the basement, I would turn on the TV, you know, Clark, what we did, and in minutes
Right.
we were on the TV. This
Yeah.
is such a, this
Well,
is so difficult.
So listen, all I can suggest, and I really don't want to be a buzzkill, guys, but I really need to sort of run off and do something else very shortly, unfortunately. But whatever we can do for you, whatever we can do to help,
Okay.
we're game on to do that. Be it advice, be it you know, think about this. Maybe you could approach this way. I would also like to see all of the public access stations, as I said. I don't know
I
if
could agree with you.
working together, because you know, one person by itself is very easy to ignore, but if we've got like a consortium of public access where we
Right.
sort of lean on Spectrum a little bit, maybe they might be a little fairer, because I mean, we should be HD. It's ludicrous that they're converting an SD signal to HD to broadcast it. It's because why not just send it in HD in the first place?
Right.
They're all digital. They've been digital for a number of years. There's no place for analog anymore, and you can't buy a standard definition television. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that aside, there's the whole thing about program guides as well. We would like to the ability to be part of the program guide, so you know, a viewer can actually see straight up what's on our channel.
Right.
But we would, there's a whole boatload of things that, you know, I'd love to work on together, but for our part, we're you know, gradually chipping away at the iceberg to get ourselves into a very viable, we're reinventing ourselves is the long and the short of it.
That's a good way to put it. We're reinventing ourselves. That's great. That's true.
Right.
So
No,
whatever-
I would
whatever we
definitely,
can do to help.
I would definitely, if I was reappointed again, or if I wasn't, as a city resident, I would say to my commissioners when they're appointed, because I'm sure in the future they're going to have to be, because I'm sure the mayor's not going to want to, or the council is going to want to deal with the whole administration of public access. So they're going to have to appoint somebody. So I would say, as a city resident, I would encourage the city to work with New Paltz, or give an idea or whatever, or go that path, was where it'd be so much better. We just had one big table where the public access, Ulster County wise, or even we can go Dutchess or whatever, that we can have, going forward with Spectrum.
Certainly food for thought. Well,
The
Clark,
sky is the limit, right? Exactly.
so Clark, you know where to find me. And I don't know if Bob's given you his email address, but it's robert.fagan at the same MPZ TV. Yeah. So
I'd be happy to, Clark, if you can, I'd like to communicate with these gentlemen so they can have my email as well.
Right. And also, if you wanted to get, if you need a contact for Esopus, I can get you that.
just email me that. Yeah, that'd be nice because
Okay.
I'd love to touch base with everybody involved in this at some point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's my
I think the
pleasure.
supervisor, Sharon Harris, she's been wanting to take this another level, but my understanding is she's not getting a lot of support from the other municipalities because of the funding of that. It's like they're thinking like, I need this, and I'm sure it's like it's a tough time right now, but it's even more tougher when you're taking that funding and you're not putting it back into public access to inform your public of what's going on.
That's the
And
crisis.
I think that's the most important thing, regardless of funding.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to, transparency of government is so important, that it's a fundamental part of trust, transparency is part of trust. So, people have a right to know, they have a right to know what's going on. And
Exactly.
we maintain
Exactly.
social distancing. It's extraordinarily hard for a member of the public to actually attend a meeting, unless there's a means of actually doing that. So, yeah.
And right, even the governor said technology is really good, and there should be ways of making it better. But my thing is like cable, we should include that too, because we don't want to leave. They're the people that are paying franchises. Like, why would you leave them out?
Exactly.
That's true. Absolutely.
They're the ones paying the fee, the franchise fee. So it's, really, if nobody else benefits, they need to benefit. That's why we're,
Right.
We're adamant that we keep Channel 23 up and alive.
And I think it's critically important that we continue to educate the public with regard to the franchise fee. And actually, some people really do not look at their bill. They don't. If you say to the man on the street, franchise fee, they might look at you and say, what? But when you say $410,000, that gets some people's attention. So
Right.
I think the more we continue to educate and inform, I think you're going to get a reaction.
People call it an extra tax, but it's actually like the added sales tax, right? With your cable bill.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's a throwback to allowing the rights of way on the polls and stuff for the municipality, isn't it?
Right.
It's the gig. But yeah, they in order to do that, they're obligated to provide public access television. But as Bob said earlier, they consider that to be a negative revenue for them, and are somewhat reluctant to really, do all they could.
And it could be so much to their advantage. They're just losing critically, really.
Well,
Yes.
it's one thing if you cut the cable, it's one thing you can't get anywhere else. And
Right.
there's a need for local news. There's a definite, people want to know what's going on in their own
I
community.
definitely do. That's why I stick around. Otherwise, I'd be, because national's all right, but I like to stay local.
Well, that's
Right.
what affect you for. Anyway, I've got to run. I'm afraid I'm out of time. I need to be somewhere else. So,
All right.
Very nice to have met you, gentlemen. Very nice.
oh, my pleasure.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you for having us on board.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So I was just going to end the meeting because I think it's been about an hour, right?
Yeah, I have
Sure.
to go too, Clark. I have
So I
to
was
feed
going to see if I
my
can get this on public access.
try. I think
Yeah.
I not to interrupt, but I firmly believe you will get the attention of someone, regardless what. If we, excuse me, if we put this somewhere, I truly believe that.
Right.
So
Well-
I got to run. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Enjoy. Bye bye. Bye, Joe.
Bye.